Welcome, age of vintage society. When you think you have heard enough about the American entertainment industry, some legendary Hollywood talents just have a way of reminding you that you have not heard anything yet. One such talent is Cleo Moore, a stunning blonde that approached movie acting with zeal and some twist of fate, but not without the usual scandal that made the gossip newspapers use her as a means of attracting readership. Why, Cleo Moore's sensual kiss caused a public outrage. As you all know how much I appreciate you, my viewers, so I want to thank you for your generous comments and for the Patreons. This video would not have been possible without you, and thanks to those who watched the video right to the end. Subscribe if you're new here, and if you want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. Cleo Moore, too pretty, too talented, and too smart. Amidst circumstances surrounding Cleo Moore's career, a writer in a tabloid column dubbed her the surest bets for stardom, while Luella Parsons made a little mockery of this richly talented blonde by writing in her opinion page that Cleo was too pretty, too talented, and too smart to allow her handlers to continue to emphasize the Jack Egan kissing scandal. What is it about this ambitious queen of the B-movies? Beautiful and shining Cleo Moore is among the few Hollywood starlets that kept appearing on the front pages of tabloid news across the country around the 1950s because of too many publicity stunts that shrouded her brief acting career. It seems she has a way of staying in the news. While her fans are still digesting what the media are saying about her, she is changing the headline the next moment. Remarkably, her unexpected announcement of her intention to contend for a governorship position in her hometown, Louisiana, and that disreputable long sensual kiss on live television that would notoriously earn her an imaginary trophy for the duration it lasted. All this was happening amid all the buxom and spectacular blondes of the time, as many believed that Cleo still stood out and was just in her lane as against those who think she was trying to be like Marilyn Monroe, who already achieved fame for herself at the time. Some fellow described her as a curvy vixen who made a name for herself as the poor man's Marilyn Monroe. In a series of tawdry sex-driven pot-boilers, Hal Erickson referred to Cleo as a bleach blonde leading lady who is Marilyn Monroe without the class. Analysts in favour of Cleo's image see it as an unfair assessment to say that Cleo imitated Monroe, since both entered the industry the same year, and she happened to be ahead of more famous blonde Monroe in the pages of Life magazine for several months, and did not copy her in any of her movie performances, not even her cheesecake postures or in costumes. Cleo Moore, whose film career covered 10 years and just 18 movies, found herself prominent as among the double queens, the second person being Mamie Van Doren, of the immoral girl B-movie genre. Even die-hard fans are memorializing her performance with her belongings as posters of collectibles. But why is everybody having something to say about her? What about her personal life? Is she different from what we see in the movies? Moore is not just industrious, her story is quite outstanding, if only she had stayed longer than she did in her shows. Moore was an expert in portraying vulgar and conniving roles. A writer once wrote that you can almost smell her cheap perfume whenever she rotated on screen. After a strange film debut as a successive leading actress in 1948's Congo Bill, Moore won a place in the heart of actor and director Hugo Hass as his choice of a leading lady. Hugo was ready to exploit her talent to the fullest, as he repeatedly produced movies, even as fans saw him acting as an older fella, spoiled by Moore's seductive charms. It was quite a period for this remarkable pin-up girl. When Cleo retired from filmmaking in 1957, she had other things in mind, including becoming a political figure, so she made her voice loud in the political arena by throwing in her proposal. Even though her bid was unsuccessful, it kept her name in the public domain and by extension her reputation, which is something her persona did not lack for years. Cleo Moore was a courageous American actress. She did not mind doing her featured blonde disaster shows with her real name, though she has some discrepancy of the actual date of her birth, making biographers assume that it is either she was born on the 31st of October 1924 or on the 31st of October 1929, somewhere in Louisiana. Some think she misrepresented her story, or someone decided to tell it the wrong way, even as a writer said Murphy Moore, her father, was a building contractor, while another thinks he ran a grocery store. Perhaps he did both. Cleo grew up in Gonzales, had her education in Gonzales public schools, and later enrolled for a secretarial study at Pope's Commercial College in Baton Rouge. Some facts are not very clear, but it was obvious that she got mixed up early with a family that is into murky state politics. Even as a child, Cleo was no doubt a highly ambitious youngster, probably living above her age. Her lively girlhood interest in fun and dramatic activities may have led her to become a short-time bride to Palmer Long, the last son of an influential man in the country at the time, ex-Governor Huey Long. She was just 15 when she eloped with her politically connected lover. Unfortunately, the union with Palmer ended after 6 weeks, forcing her to return to her family and join them in relocating to Van Nuys, California in 1945. Cleo, who set her eyes on anything showbiz, was announced as Miss Plastic Art in the city in 1949, with mini publicity that saw her pose in a costume designed entirely with plastic. She was a very outspoken and outgoing lady who specifically loved boxing brawls. It was one of her outings at Hollywood Legion Stadium to watch a boxing fight that she was spotted by an RKO talent scout. At the time she was enjoying minor fame as a model, cutting the tar chain to open a fresh Pet Boys store in Van Nuys, and was already an ambassador model for the Riviera peasant blouse that sold for $3.95 then. Interestingly, she already had the media tailing and reporting her stories, especially for the inconsistent love life that kept reporters close to her. First, she was reported to have reconciled with Al Mathis, who she was dating at the time. The Jew was in a romantic relationship, rumoured to have been engaged and later separated, only for them to be seen nightclubbing together again, as if nothing happened between them. Their confusing love life prompted an opinion writer, Harrison Carroll, to write, "Cleo at Ciro's nightclub with Al Mathis," only a few hours after their announcement that they wouldn't date any more. He added that Cleo's New Orleans fresh hook, oil-wealthy John Owen, is arriving and things may be different then. Owens, the Texas oil man, became the favoured one, as their frolicking appeared more serious than expected. They remained lovebirds until producer Leonard Goldstein stepped in with Cleo, and the two became the hottest couple sensation at Jake Kosloff's Ciro's party for the Three Gabors. Cleo made her film debut in Embraceable You before showing as the leading lady in the serialized film Congo Bill. She worked briefly with Warner Brothers and RKO Radio Pictures between 1950 to 52, appearing in Hunt the Man Down and Gambling House, before moving to Columbia Pictures, where she was positioned as the newest film star to compete in the success of 20th Century Fox Marilyn Monroe. They began by bleaching Moore's hair into platinum blonde and referred to her as the next big thing. After gaining little publicity with the film noir On Dangerous Ground, Cleo made her finest film that she is still remembered for today, One Girl's Confession, opposite Hugo Hass, who also directed her in the film. Soon Columbia Pictures were reshuffled and Cleo was replaced with the new arrival Kim Novak. Moore, not happy with the forgettable B-movies she was remanded in, had a brief deal with Universal in 1954. At this time Cleo Moore had started another romantic affair with Bill Holmes, as they were often spotted at the Sportsman's Chalet. Then there was this live show on Chicago TV that sent the media dangling over issues relating to Cleo for a time too long in a scandalous manner. The issue was a horrendous promotional kiss Cleo had with Jack Egan, a radio and TV trooper for ABC partner WPKB, in what was marketed as an experimental test of the TV audience's reaction. The kiss became a record-breaking kiss, the longest duration by a kiss of its kind, lasting just about 5 minutes and 17 seconds, even as the duo was still sitting in their separate seats. The much-anticipated reaction went viral, setting society aflame with dissenting opinions shouting to the loudest of their voices. The city-wide criticism later resulted in an intense protest, as hundreds of female audiences accused Egan of vulgarity, coarseness, and bad taste. Egan's attempt to save his face by appealing to aggrieved parties that he was not guilty failed. He had said that he has been happily married for 18 years and that his wife was aware of that particular TV project, and argued that if she had thought of anything dehumanizing or offensive about it, she would have informed him. His plea fell on deaf ears as he was sacked thereafter. On her part, Cleo was trying to convince everyone who cared to listen that the offensive nature of the kiss was not premeditated. "I'm sorry, because I wouldn't want anyone to lose his job," she pleaded. But the gossip media was already agog with the incident as they kept talking about it, churning out different versions of the story and making Cleo one of the most talked about personalities at the time. Well, innocent Cleo moved on with her life. In all this period of many occurrences, Cleo Moore remained single, but appeared not searching or not ready, because there's always a man by her side. If she is not being escorted by actor Lance Fuller, as seen at the Oriental reception party for Terry Moore and Susan Zanuck, Cleo will be in the custody of the Argentine star Fernando Lamas. For young and sensational Cleo Moore, it is a free world. She kept relishing her life, maybe as the hottest spinster that everyone is talking about. A media outlet that tried to be sympathetic with her had written that Cleo was too attractive and talented for people to keep referring to her as the Kiss Girl, just because her long smooch got DJ Jack Egan fired from Chicago TV. It was not as if Cleo took cognizance of all the trash being said about her, or was in any way distracted. The truth was that she was very busy with her lovers, as she kept changing men as she wishes. But one devotee who was a little difficult to shake off was Tony Travis. He was so dedicated to her that Luella captures the romance affairs as something that will go toward the Marriage License Bureau. After months of hobnobbing with Tony and the rumours spreading that she was about to settle down in marriage, she did not hesitate to dispel the rumours and announce their break-up. "I have more fun with Tony than with anybody else. Everybody was thinking we are marrying. We just aren't that serious," Cleo informed her fans. But the break-up was more of a publicity stunt because Tony was stuck on her. She was yet to find her dream man because she had her dreams and aspiration. After meeting Universal's executive Charles Simonelli in New York, Cleo went on air on an NBC talk show to declare her intention to run for governor of Louisiana. The announcement attracted more media attention as many had to mirror her meandering affairs with men of timber and calibre. Some writers think she was pulling with Simonelli even as Tony remained in the background. There was never a dull moment with this proclaimed Las Vegas's Miss Billboard. Soon some youngsters went berserk on seeing her in Houston. The adventurous teenage Texans almost undressed her as about a dozen boys who wanted to be kissed by Cleo amidst the struggle pulled a ruffle off her blouse as a remembrance. Poor kids, her kisses are reserved for Tony Travis and Charles Simonelli, according to a gossip columnist, Earl Wilson. There were also reports of her romance with names like Joe DiMaggio, which was never denied nor acknowledged, Dick Hames and Joe Kirkwood Jr. Cleo Moore was quoted to have said as part of her political manifesto that as a great actor she will be a great leader, and if elected she will advocate for more rights for women, but that all my right-hand men will be men. Funnily enough, she did not hit it big in acting, with many suggesting that she might have been distracted by a lot of things, including her pleasure-seeking, buxom nature. But she also invested wisely in real estate, and of course had a business eye for money, and nothing but more money. No wonder the press referred to her as a real estate tycoon. Sometime in 1957, the gossip media hinted at her new catch, Gary Morton, and reported that they have stopped denying it. Things were going south for her in the entertainment industry, so after doing Hit and Run that year, Cleo retired from acting, but was doing well in her business ventures. The media, however, did not lose sight of her domineering presence. By 1959 she was already pulling with another, this time Juan Rodriguez, the son of the ex-Mexican president, and was telling her fans how nice he was, though she quickly disabused their mind from what they may be thinking as she said, "But I have too many obligations to get married." Whereas rumours were spreading about Cleo telling friends she will become Mrs. Juan Rodriguez before long, but that was not the end, as she was reported dating Anthony T. Casola a few months later. Perhaps she was thinking of getting a real hook at the time, or Juan was not willing to move in. So she told the press that Juan and I have decided not to date each other exclusively, adding that they'll still be seeing each other occasionally. It was not until Cleo met real estate tycoon Herbert Heftler that she decided to say I do. Then he was 46 while Cleo was 32. The couple married in 1961 and lived together in their Beverly Hills home until her sudden demise. Cleo Moore died while asleep in 1973, and so, just like her irregular birth date, she was either 44 or 49 at the time of her death. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here, and if you want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. Marilyn Monroe had many competitors at the time, but why was Diana Dawes Marilyn Monroe's only possible rival? Let's find out from this video.